Each day, thousands of aircraft travel across the nation's skies. Some will not make it to their planned destination and could be flying over any community when tragedy strikes. Aircraft down. Are you ready? The Federal Aviation Administration requires airports to conduct a full-scale exercise at least every 3 years. They have asked the airports to consider using a scenario where the crash happens off airport property. The Orlando International Airport and Central Florida Emergency Response Agencies are better prepared for an aircraft incident since participating in the largest full-scale exercise ever conducted in the state of Florida, Operation Crash and Surge. The scenario is an A320 aircraft that just departed Orlando International Airport experiencing complete hydraulic failure. The pilot declares an Alert 2 and begins the process to return to the airport. But shortly after, the airliner disappears completely off of the air traffic control radar. 911 calls begin pouring in and reporting that an airplane has crashed into a hotel 1 mile north of the airport. Upon arrival at the scene, fire department crews find a large hotel on fire with major damage from the aircraft impact. The airliner and several cars are on fire in the hotel parking lot. There is a large debris field and hundreds of victims throughout the crash site. Quick decisions have to be made, beginning with who is in charge. The incident is in the city of Orlando, so the Orlando Fire Department takes the lead. A unified command system is established following the National Incident Management System framework. The operations chief assigns the Orlando Fire Department crews to manage the fire incident, calling them the building group. Search teams go through each floor. There is debris surrounding the building, and damage is done to the internal stairwells. Aerial apparatus cannot be used because of accessibility issues, so ground ladders must be raised to gain access to the upper floors. The Orlando International Fire Rescue assets are assigned to the aircraft group due to their specialized expertise. Gaining access to an aircraft is challenging. Stepping from the ladder onto the wing surface is a dangerous point, since the wing is naturally sloped for flight purposes and is often slippery from a foam extinguishing agent. Personnel must know how to gain entry through the doors and hatches, which are all different in numerous types of aircraft. Getting inside the hatches with full gear on is another challenge, and once inside, the space is confined and the environment is often dark or possibly smoke-filled. Firefighters must know their way around inside an aircraft in these conditions, or they can become disoriented very quickly. Rescuing a victim is another difficult task due to the elevation of the aircraft. Slides are a part of aircraft's built-in evacuation system and can be an effective way to quickly egress the aircraft. But this avenue also leads to many injuries. Approximately 20% of uninjured passengers who use the slide evacuation system will sustain injuries during this process. An air stair unit is a specialized vehicle designed to access aircraft and is a great way to control an evacuation. Passengers can walk down the stairs or can safely be carried down backboards. Orange County Fire Rescue is also responding in force, and they are assigned to be the EMS Group. It requires a tremendous amount of personnel to triage, backboard, and carry a large number of victims to treatment areas. The EMS Group must establish an entry point to funnel everyone into treatment. In an aircraft incident, there is always a potential for fuel contamination, so using a decontamination system at the entry point is a good way to control the receiving process. Determining which victims were on the aircraft and which ones were on the ground is critical for accountability purposes. The movement of the wounded from treatment to the transport units requires organization and coordination. Medical helicopters provide a means to carry critically ill to local trauma centers. But, often overlooked, these helicopters can also take victims to hospitals a further distance away, increasing the amount of hospitals available to assist. Having an adequate supply of transport units may also be an issue during a mass casualty incident and will usually require resources from multiple agencies. Tracking these various assets has been done, including what patients were transported to which hospitals. Communication to the airport EOC is critical during an aircraft crash, regardless of where the incident takes place. Equally as important is communicating with the media through a joint information center to control the information being released. A scenario like this takes huge amounts of team effort. Communities must plan, train, and exercise together, both on the airport and out in the community. Building these relationships is essential to the success of any emergency, but it becomes even more important for high-risk, low-frequency events such as airplane crashes. Aircraft down. Are you ready?